What up, everybody? Oh, good to see everybody. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. There we go. Oh. Wednesday. Right? Got a little Wednesday action. Oh, good morning. Hello, Craig. Hello, Edwin. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Redneconomics. What is up, South Carolina Progressive? Long Beach, how's it going? Good to see you all. Kimmy says, Just Inform is a new site, no censorship. Cool. I will check it out. Hello from the Central Valley of California. Good morning. Greetings from Prescott. Hello, Prescott. Love it. Guys, a lot's been going on today already. We got stuff to talk about. And it says there's only 7 of you, but I don't think that's true. I feel like there's got to be more. You're holding your guitar as well? You got to play it. All right, no, we actually got 25. Just jumped. So soon we're going to be, we officially begin when we have 30, by the way, for anyone that's new and doesn't know that. 33 on YouTube. Well, I've been 27 since 33. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Flacone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? Getting our news on today. Yay. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I'll answer this. The chords to my show, or the chords to my theme song is just C, A minor, F, and G. So it's very easy to follow along. It's just C, A minor, F, and G. But I tuned down a step and a half. So that is a way you can, so I'm in like drop C sharp, I guess you would say. So, yeah, that's how you can totally play along. Yeah, it's just C, and maybe Andre, you might be right with the tuning down. That might be what it sounds like: an A major, a C minor, minor, C sharp minor, D, and E. But yeah, I tuned down, and it's just C, A minor, F, and G. Jordan, happy birthday! So guys, here's my question for the day. So, a while ago, I had a gentleman named Anomaly on the show. This was last week on this day. And he was a progressive turned Trump supporter. And I wanted to kind of find out why he feels the way he does. And one of the things he said was he felt that he had kind of a connection with Trump. The way he put it, he said, I could basically call Trump. That was what he said, which, I think is not true. I don't think that's true at all. I think the idea that Trump has this connection with regular people, I think is kind of just fake. I think it's PR. I think it's nonsense. But the one thing that I've said in the past is that he doesn't really have any ideology necessarily. He's just sort of this blank slate, knee-jerk reactionary guy that is just sort of here for his own ego. And whoever has his ear can kind of just move him. I do believe that's true. Who has his ear? However, a bunch of right-wing demagogues, a bunch of neocons, a bunch of warmongers, the 1% of the 1%. That's who has his ear. Which is totally true. Now, one thing I did, though, to test the theory out, is I tweeted at Donald Trump, and I said, hey man, look, what if I told you with nationwide broadband, you could tweet way faster, we'd have the best internet ever, and we'll call it Trump Net as long as it's publicly owned. So I know Donald Trump did not see that tweet because I don't entertain that fantasy. But my question to you guys, is it worth it? Would it be worth it in this total hypothetical? And this is a fun one. I know there's no chance of this actually happening. But would it be worth it in this hypothetical if we got nationwide broadband, which of course would solve the net neutrality battle once and for all? It would put the internet in the hands of the public nationwide, and that would be a rule. It would have to be in the public's hand. Every town would be in charge of their own internet. Would it be worth it to have nationwide broadband if we called it Trump Net? And again, this is a fun one. This is a light one. You don't need to say, Ron, it would never happen. It's not like Donald Trump saw your tweet. I know he didn't see my tweet. I'm just saying, in this kind of fun hypothetical, would it be worth it to have nationwide broadband if we had to call it Trump Net? My answer is a resounding yes. Obviously, I tweeted it at Donald Trump. And even though it was a joke, even though it was meant to be kind of goofy, there was a kind of serious undertone where it'd be amazing if somebody actually had his ear and could convince him on nationwide broadband. And it wouldn't take much. If you stroke the guy's ego a little bit, compliment his hair, I think he'd go along with it. He didn't like the AT&T Time Warner merger, by the way. He wasn't a fan of that. So I think he totally... And does he oppose these big corporations because he has some moral compass against them? No. He opposes them because he sees them as competition, and he wants to, you know, the world is just a big measuring contest to him. But either way, take the unlikely bedfellow where you can get it, pitch him on nationwide broadband, tell him we'll call it Trump Net. He'd go along with it just so, because then he could show up AT&T, Time Warner, Comcast. And to him, those are all just competition. He doesn't like it. He wants to be the big man on campus. It's not because he's opposed to what they're doing to the consumers. He doesn't care about that. But hey, man, he doesn't want that competition. So would it be worth it? If we could have nationwide broadband, but it would have to be called Trump Net, would it be worth it? I say yes. The free and open internet is too important. You know, I would cast... You know, I don't like Donald Trump's policies. I'm opposed to him. But, man, if he would instill nationwide broadband just to give an FU to the ISPs he sees as competition in the world that he doesn't want, that he wants to beat just for his own ego, hell, I'll take the unlikely ally. What do you guys think? Let's go to the chat. Give him the name. I would wear a Trump Net t-shirt if that's what it took. I'm fine with it. Tons of shit is named after awful people already anyway. I would be more than okay to give him credit if it happens. Celeste says that. Jordan says I'm fine with it. I would wear a Trump Net t-shirt, Chris says. Give him the brand and keep the benefits, Jason says. Video game Vision Quest, yes, totally worth it. Most of our public infrastructure is named after psychos, LOL. Very true. Our airports, our roads, etc. Jason, awesome idea. Jennifer, definitely. Edwin, yes, start making Trump Net t-shirts. Guys, we might have frickin' solved this. They could call it Trump, Taj Mahal, Goldberg. All right, all we need is someone who actually has his ear to pitch this thing, and we can completely solve net neutrality. We got to have Anomaly back on the show. He's a phone call away from Trump. Time to put his theory to the test. Time to be like, look, buddy, call him up. Call him up. See what he says. Well, guys, we solved it. We solved it. That was really cool of us to do this. And yeah, I think it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right. So let's go to some articles and some issues here. Guys, we're going to start our news day in Seattle, Washington, a city that I used to call home. And let me go ahead and tweet this out. A bunch of people were tweeting about this, so I was like, we got to start with this. So I just kind of pulled up my own, the article I wanted to use. And this is from the Washington Post. You know the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. They're doing what they can to help. Seattle Council votes, and I just tweeted this out, by the way, if you get your news on with Ron retweet. Seattle Council votes to repeal tax to help homeless amid opposition from Amazon. We covered this before on the show. A quick refresher for anybody that wants it, or just a quick refresher in general. There was a homeless tax. Not a tax on the homeless, mind you. A tax on the biggest businesses in the Seattle area. And what was that tax going to go to do? That tax was going to go help homeless people. It was going to help house the homeless. So it was a good idea. It had had support from City Council. The mayor was supporting it as well. And the citizens of Seattle largely supported it. Who was opposed to it? The big businesses in town. The biggest culprit being Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Even though this tax was totally affordable, it ended up being, I think, about $500 per year per worker, which when you look at the revenue that those companies bring in, that's a drop in the bucket. But Amazon didn't like it anyway. And it looks like they're going to get their way. The Seattle City Council on Tuesday voted to repeal a tax hike on large employers that it instituted less than a month ago, backing down from a plan fiercely opposed by Amazon.com and much of the city's business community. Not all of it, just the biggest ones that were going to get hit by it, by the way. Amazon, and who else was complaining a lot about this? Starbucks. Mr. I want to be president in 2020, Howard Schultz, the billionaire who has made billions by making a milkshake and throwing a coffee bean in it and calling it breakfast, charging you $5 for a 50-cent cup of coffee. That guy is opposed to this tax that his company could afford many times over that would help homeless people. Man, a billionaire telling you that you can't have the type of programs other countries that are less wealthy than us take for granted and doesn't want to pitch in to help the homeless. Man, that guy, that's who I want to be president in 2020. It makes sense he's running as a Republican, right, Ron? No, he's running as a Democrat. Because we got one party, it's the money party, baby. Doesn't matter if there's an R or D next to the person's name in most cases. It's the money party. Howard Schultz is no different. What a scam. What a scam. The new tax would have raised $48 million annually to combat Seattle's homelessness. You know where that goes far? That goes far in combating homelessness. You know where that's a drop in the bucket? To these companies that can afford to pay it. It's a little bit from them that goes a long way. And the city supported it, and the residents wanted it, but guess what? They ain't getting it. Why? Because Amazon complained. Because Starbucks complains. And do we have a democracy? Hell no. We have a plutocracy. The people with the money make the rules. And if they don't like a rule, they strike it down. They pitch a fit till they get what they want. And even in quote-unquote progressive Seattle, they're getting what they want. And I got a lot of love for Seattle. I really do. I used to live there. The Pacific Northwest is one of my favorite areas in the world. But when I was there in 2007 to 2010, that city was taking an ugly neoliberal turn. And I would say to people, I'd be like, this place ain't near as progressive as they say they are. At least not as far as the people that make the rules go. This place actually demonizes the poor. They want to get us out of here. That's what they really want. And people looked at me like I was crazy. What are you talking about, Ron? We all have gay friends here. We're really progressive. Seattle's super progressive. No, not if you look at the rules they're really trying to instill. They're not all that progressive. They're really not. Look what happened since then. Seattle has become infinitely more corporate. The neighborhood I used to live in, Fremont, I don't even recognize it. I was back there in 2016 because I had a college show in Seattle. I didn't even recognize the old neighborhood. Most of the stuff I used to love is gone. A lot of the buildings are empty because no one can afford the rents on Fremont Avenue. I couldn't even afford that neighborhood today. I live in Los Angeles. That neighborhood is more expensive than where I live in the Los Angeles area. And I was able to afford that neighborhood, which, by the way, was a hip, cool neighborhood. Still is in many ways. It's still a beautiful neighborhood. But I could afford to live there, kind of just being a broke, recently out of college kid, just kind of figuring out my way in the world, doing comedy open mics, kind of going from temp job to temp job, doing what I had to do to survive, traveling when I had a little bit of extra money. I could afford to live in Fremont. Certainly couldn't. I don't even think I could afford to live there now. And why has that city changed so much? Well, because of this kind of stuff. Seattle's council voted 7-2 to repeal the tax. The people who are being disruptive because they are angry, said Tay Phoenix, one of the activists. The system is not working for them, and disrupting is the only thing they can do. That's right, because you don't get a say in it. Even though the citizens want this, even though the city council was for it, even though they voted for it, and so did the mayor, now they're repealing it. Because Amazon cried loudly enough. If that doesn't sound like a democracy to you, ding, 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 that's because it isn't. Very poor form, Seattle. And I'm incredibly disappointed. Let's see what the mayor says about this. I have a newsflash for council members who catapulted this in lightning speed. This was never going to be easy in the face of mass corporate misinformation. This is from Shama Sawant, a council member and a member of Socialist Alternative. I guarantee she was on the right side of this. I guarantee she was one of those no votes that said, no, we're not repealing this thing. And again, she's calling it out because of corporate misinformation. I'm curious what the mayor has to say for flopping on this, as well as the council that flopped. Curious what they have to say, how they justify it. Here's what John Kelly, a spokesman for Starbucks, has to say. Repeal makes sense. Together we must work to bring families inside once and for all. Oh yeah, it's about the families. What a joke. What a joke. Go sell a coffee milkshake. Very disappointing. Very disappointing, Seattle. All right, Edwin, moving along. Edwin sent this to me, and we're going to go over the results in Nevada, which I took a little peek, and spoiler alert, they're disappointing. So Nevada's primary was yesterday. I was very excited about Amy Valea. She finished in third with 9.2% of the vote. Let's go ahead and take a look at I want to look at District 3. I want to see how Michael Weiss did. So let's go over to that. Michael Weiss came in second with 8.2% of the vote, but he did not win. He won't be advancing. So, you know, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna have a big bummer-a-thon about the election results in Nevada, because I did that for California, and it was a pretty it was one of our more depressing episodes, probably the most depressing ever. I was a little mad, I'm not gonna lie. My girlfriend got the brunt of me venting. I vented to her on Tuesday night to the point where I'm pretty sure she stopped listening. I don't blame her. I hope she did. I mean, I just vented. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't mean or anything. I was just venting. But come on, who wants to hear that after a while? I get it. But guys, Amy was fantastic. She would have been a huge asset to our political landscape. She came in third. She's not advancing. Michael Weiss, same thing. He came in second. And both of these candidates worked very hard. But the reality of the situation, guys, and I know that sometimes we forget this is the case. Maybe because we come here every morning. And I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes I'm in my little Southern California bubble. But the reality of the situation is our movement is smaller than we realize. And maybe some of you realize it. I shouldn't speak for everybody. Maybe some of you are like, Ron, I live in South Carolina. I realize how small we are. Ron, I live in, and so, I'm not trying to I'm speaking, I guess, mostly for myself. But some of you that think like, oh, we gotta, we can't do this, we have to do this, no, there's not a lot of us. And that's why I say we need a Bernie Sanders on the inside, peeling back the layers of corruption, because not a lot of people are awake to it yet. That doesn't mean those people are bad or they're wrong or they're ill-informed or well, they might be misinformed, but it doesn't mean they're bad people or that they're dumb or anything like that. It just means, maybe they don't pay attention as much to this stuff because maybe they're working 2 or 3 jobs to survive. Or maybe they know for their own mental sanity they can't be reading the news 24/7. So they just kind of do what they can. They watch MSNBC. They feel like they got a lefty perspective even though they didn't. And they move on with their lives. I think a lot of those people are our allies. They're just not in tune to the movement yet. And we need some numbers. We really do. I understand. Are there more? Electoral politics are not the only thing to change. I totally, believe me, I realize that. I'm an outsider myself, and I always will be. But you also gotta win an election or two, guys. We really do. That's the reality of it. You gotta get a couple W's. And before we're gonna see some significant W's, we need some numbers. So, it's important we talk about how corrupt the two-party system is, because a lot of people are open to that message. A lot of people are open to real populism, not the fake stuff Donald Trump sold, but real populism. People are open to that. That's why Bernie Sanders created such a big movement. That's why Donald Trump won. Donald Trump ran on this idea of a Republican populist, which is a lie and an oxymoron. It's not real. But he sold it, and it worked. It worked. He's not delivering on it. But people bought the non-interventionist message. They bought the corruption, the political corruption message. They liked him because he was a, quote, outsider. He wasn't. But people bought that. I'll go to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Ruben, I saw a video months ago saying that one of the women who appeared in Ajit Pai's Harlem Shake video mocking net neutrality, mocking the net neutrality repeal, was involved in the infamous Pizzagate hoax. Is this true? I heard that too, Ruben. I don't know if it's true or not. So I can't speak to that. And my nose is itchy for some reason. Could be some Lucy hair floating around. But I also heard that, and I don't know if it's true. Platypus, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. 3:30 a.m. Thursday here. Have a nice day, everyone, and I love every single one of you, and I am proud of all the dream chasers, lifesavers, and world changers. That's very kind of you, Platypus. Thank you. And thank you for being up at 3:30 a.m. to do this. I think mainstream Dems are appropriating progressive. I think populist left may be a better descriptor. Maybe. I think people are just despondent at this point. They just don't see their lives getting better and have lost hope. I think a lot of people have, yeah. No one wants to give up their lattes and Netflix. Who said you had to? You don't. Ro Khanna endorsed corrupt Joe Crawley and praised his... Well, he actually did a dual endorsement. And you pointed that out, Yarrow. Kyle Kalinske tweeted that Roe broke his heart. Roe does not have the ability to break my heart. No offense to Roe. But the only people that can break my heart... Well, the only person that can break my heart right now is my girlfriend. I hope she chooses not to do that. But Kyle shouldn't let stuff like that break his heart. A shitstorm ensued today as Roe co-endorsed Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I heard about that. I heard Roe co-endorsed. Why he endorsed Joe Crowley in the first place, I don't know. I don't know why he did that. I'd love to have him on the show to talk about it. I like Roe. Roe's done some good things. He's done some things that I disagree with, and that's certainly one of them. And I'd be curious to talk to him about it. And instead of speculating why he did what he did, I'd rather have him on to talk to him about it and say, why did you endorse this person? Let's see. Grow your own food forest. That's a good idea. Did you see Michelle Wolf's mockery of the New York Times? I did not see that, but I really like what she's been doing as of recent, and I look forward to her. Netflix show. Actually, I think she's going to be doing a show on Netflix. Being non-political is a political decision to stick your head in the sand. It's disgusting. Yeah, okay. Our revolution had 3 wins for Congress in Virginia and South Carolina, plus 1 more going into a runoff last night. Stephen, thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for the Super Chat contribution. And, yeah, it's important that, we do highlight the positives. Because, yeah, there are some victories to be happy about. And Nick pointed out that Michelle Wolf's show has actually already started on Netflix. I got to check it out. I want to check it out. A revolution, Zero Divisor says, a revolution is going to require people to give up some of their comforts. People want stability. Revolutions are scary. Fair enough. That's true. But a revolution is also 100% necessary. All right, so that was some on the results. So let's see what we got here. You guys can go ahead and tweet some articles, by the way. We still got room for more. All right, so this is from Sean. Let me go ahead and give this a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Bernie Sanders, Trump-Kim summit, a positive step. Oh, and Sean prefaced this by saying Bernie is the lone sane voice in the Senate. Senator Bernie Sanders on Tuesday expressed cautious optimism about President Trump's historic meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. While very light on substance, the meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un in Singapore represents a positive step in de-escalating tensions between our countries, addressing the threat of North Korea's nuclear weapons and moving towards a more peaceful future, Sanders said in a statement. Congress has an important role to play in making sure this is a meaningful and serious process and not just a series of photo ops, he added. Sanders' statement offered rare, albeit light praise for Trump, who he has been a strong critic of since the 2016 campaign. Yeah, I mean, I thought the right thing to do is to just shame everybody involved, even if it means World War III. I thought that was the right thing, right? Look at Bernie Sanders sounding like a sane person, saying, hey, look, I'm not a big fan of the players involved, but preventing World War III, that's kind of a good thing. Not having tight combative relationships with North Korea, that's a good thing. Even if it means having to listen to people we really don't like. Peace is more important than political theater. Man, Bernie Sanders, what a fringe idea that is. But Bernie Sanders, only one saying stuff like that. At least the only person with that kind of a big platform. With that big of a platform, rather. Cappuccino Conservative sends this. Here's some good news, apparently, according to the headline. Let's see what the news is. Let me give it a Get Your News On with Ron retweet first. Okay, there's actually no article here. Oh, okay, every day we share good news stories from around the world. Okay, so this is a summary of good news stories. And this is just like a bunch of them compiled by sunnyskies.com. All right, so let's pick a few. A woman's late-stage breast cancer cured by breakthrough treatment. All right, let's check that out. And I'm not sure what this website's all about. I mean, I guess it's compiling good news, so let's see if this is... hopefully this isn't like kind of a, a fake news thing where they're claiming that this cancer was cured when maybe it actually wasn't. Anyway, let's read it. A woman with advanced breast cancer and only given months to live has been cured after taking part in an experiment injection, using her body's own immune system to wipe out the tumors. Judy Perkins, 52, had late-stage breast cancer, which had stopped responding to chemotherapy and other treatments. She had tumors the size of plums in her liver after the cancer had spread through her body. She was told she had months to live and made a bucket list of places to visit. That's a good idea. I mean, if I was given that, that would be what I would try to do. I would try to travel as much as I could, see as many places as I could, before I died. But thanks to a revolutionary immunotherapy treatment administered by the National Institutes of Health, the mother of two has been cancer-free for 2 years. It feels miraculous. So here's how they did it. Researchers took a small sample of Perkins' tumors, studied the DNA. They then extracted immune cells from the tumor, grew billions of them, finding those which would be most effective to kill her cancer. She was then injected with the billions of immune cells, as well as given a drug called, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this because I wouldn't be able to, which can help the immune system to attack cancer. She was given a drug that can help the immune system. So she was given all these immune cells that were made by her own DNA, injected with them, and then given a drug that's going to help those injected. So all those cells, billions of them, plus an enhancer. Boom, 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 boom. Makes sense. I'm not a science guy or a medicine guy, but it makes sense that something like that could potentially work. So this treatment is called adoptive cell transfer, and according to this article, it worked for this woman. Now, do we have time to do all the research behind this? We don't. Judy Perkins, you can go ahead and Google it. Hopefully this isn't a hoax. Hopefully this is a real, genuine story. We don't have time to look it up because we got to move on to other things. But check it out. And for anyone that's never watched this show before, this is a show where people tweet me articles, and I'm seeing them for the first time, and that's how we build the show. The world's oldest cat just celebrated his 30th birthday. We'll do this one, then we'll move on. The world's oldest cat just celebrated his 30th birthday. You guys know I'm a cat person, so this is a special one to me. Rubble, the cat, just celebrated his 30th birthday, making him the oldest cat in the UK and possibly the world. And you know what? Rubble looks pretty damn good. Rubble, who lives with Michelle Heritage, celebrated his 30th birthday with a surprise party at the City Vets Animal Hospital in Exeter, English. Happy 30th, Rubble. That's amazing. All right, let's see if they talk about... All right. Now, the record books of the oldest cat ever is Cream Puff, who lived until the age of 38. All right, now I'm seeing if they talk about his diet, Rubble's diet. All right, so Rubble is on medication for his blood pressure, but apart from that, he's in remarkably good health. This article says what his favorite... They said that he came in for a routine check with a balloon and his favorite food. They don't say what his favorite food is. I want to know what his favorite food is because I want to give that... All right. Well, I wish there was some dietary information because I would try to see what I can do for my cat, Lucy, to help assure her a long life. And guys, if you will bear with me for one moment when I take a quick pause to get a perspective that I feel is very important for this show. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. There she is. Aw, you're sleeping. Sorry. Your services are needed. I'm a happy cat, and I hope I can be just like Rubble. Right, Lucy? Aw, I wish I knew his diet. I would see... But you have a fun diet, huh? You have your prescription food. Can you see her? Is she... Yeah. You got your prescription food. You got your podcast. You got your treats. You like your dental treats. They're good for your teeth. You need brushed. We're going to do that after the stream's over. All right. Thanks, Lucy. You can go back to bed now. All right. We'll go to the chat a little bit. Those were our feel-good stories for the year. Thank you, Cappuccino Conservative. No, that was fun. I appreciate it. All right. We got some stuff coming up. And we'll go to the chat real quick, see if you guys had anything to say about the feel-good. Aw, thank you guys for the compliments on the Lucy. I appreciate it. And get your freak on with Placone, says David. Thank you, David. Thank you for the super chat. I've been watching your show since the second video, and I can finally see one live. Well, welcome, Anthony. Thank you for being here. And David, I think you pointed out that you're a Trump supporter. I donate to Ron, and I am a Trump supporter. Must have other views, etc. Very interesting, man. I mean, I think I think a lot of us share the same. We kind of see the same problems. We just have some different ideas on what the solutions are. And I think migrating to a Trump, that's kind of still siding with the establishment. And I have cat hair all over me. And but I appreciate you. I appreciate you embracing shows with a different point of view than your own. And cheers to that. A lot of times when we get together and talk, we find out that we have more in common than we don't. Is that always the case? Absolutely not. But sometimes that is. And that's important. And I have a bunch of cat hair all over me. So let's move on. We got a bunch of stuff to get through. Because you guys have been tweeting more stuff, which is awesome. And we'll go to Jordan because it's his birthday. And this is from Jordan. Happy birthday again, Jordan. I hope you're doing something cool. I don't celebrate my birthday. I'm one of those weirdos. I don't like my birthday. In fact, we'll do this article, and then Jordan, since it's your birthday, I'll tell you a goofy story about one of my... Not my last birthday, but the birthday before my last birthday. Because it's kind of a funny story. The Democrats outright the right on the North Korea summit. This is by Ajamu Baraka, who, of course, was Jill Stein's running mate. And I just pulled cat hair out of my mouth. I hope you all saw that. Lucy needs brushed. I brush her every day, but in the morning, it's when she's usually ripe for a brushing. And I've not brushed her yet today. And let me see if you can actually see it on me. Okay, I don't think you can. Yeah. What can I say? I'm a cat person through and through. If more proof was needed to persuade anyone that the Democrats are indeed a war party, it was provided when Senator Chuck Schumer and other Democratic leaders in the Senate engaged in a cynical stunt to stake out a position to the right of John Bolton on the summit between Trump and Kim Jong-un. The Democrats asserted that the planned summit could only be judged successful if the North Koreans agreed to dismantle and remove all their nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons, end all production and enrichment of uranium, dismantle its nuclear weapons infrastructure, and suspend ballistic missile tests. Those demands would constitute an unconditional surrender on the part of the North Korean leadership and will not happen, and the Democrats know it. So even though Obama, didn't go that route, and actually when North Korea extended some olive branches, Obama turned it down. Obama did that. And, no different than George W. Bush. I'm not saying it was... But they have this kind of expectation for Trump that... this is political theater. This is political theater. And the establishment Democrats would rather engage in political theater than prevent a war. That's true. They attack Trump from the right on a regular basis. And it's ridiculous. It's comically absurd. And you know what? I don't care about political theater. I care about anti-war. That's what I am. I'm anti-war. And being anti-war is more important to me than political theater 110% of the time. So, you know, and I don't think Trump is some peacenik non-interventionist. He hasn't been. You know, he hasn't been when it comes to Syria. He hasn't been when it comes to who he surrounded himself with. He surrounded himself with warmongers and torturers. And, you know, it doesn't help that the only time the corporate media praises him is when he bombs people. It's the only time the corporate media praises the guy. And what's the one trick Trump does know? Public relations. So, yeah, I mean, the Democrats, again, I mean, you can just count on them to be wrong about everything at this point. I mean, whenever Chuck Schumer opens his mouth, it's like, what dumb thing is he saying next? The Democrats shoot themselves in the foot every opportunity they get. They are politically tone deaf. They were talking about gas prices because they have nothing left. They are a party that is completely dead in the water. And they either need to be hijacked or we need a new party altogether. And it just seems like hijacking isn't much of an option. We'll see. But thank you for sharing that piece about Ajamu by Ajamu. It's a good piece. And Jordan, again, happy birthday. And I really don't like my birthday. In fact, I have a weird neurotic thing about getting older. It's just me. I'm not proud of it. And last year for my birthday, my girlfriend just planned everything and just kind of took me around. My birthday before that, I didn't have my girlfriend. I hadn't met her yet. And I just didn't want to do anything for my birthday. For my birthday, I just wanted to just go do what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to be by myself. And I just wanted to kind of forget the fact that it was my birthday. That's what I wanted. And I was like, what's my birthday? That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I did was I went, and I don't announce my birthday on Facebook either. My birthday's not listed. So I didn't get many birthday posts on my wall or anything like that. The only people that did were the people that knew it already. And I would respond and say thank you, but I would hope, like I just didn't want any attention. So I went to an open mic to do some comedy. And then I was thinking, I'm going to go to an open mic. I'm going to go eat somewhere I want to eat, get some food that I want to get. And that's going to be my birthday. And that's all I want. You know, maybe I'll go to a bar. Maybe I'll go, you know, I was a single guy at the time. I was like, I'm going to go, you know, swipe right on Tinder a bunch. Maybe I'll have a date. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll meet somebody at a bar. Maybe I'll talk to someone. I was just kind of a man on the town doing my thing. And I remember I talked to my parents and my sister, and they all thought that was the most pathetic birthday they had ever heard, because it was. And I could just hear the disappointment in their voices. So I kind of was like, all right, I'll try to be somewhat social. So I texted my buddy that lived in the area I was in, my buddy Sean, and I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm not really up to anything. So I was like, dude, let's hang. And he was like, sure. So he came and we hung out. And he noticed that I kept getting texts and phone calls from people. And so I told him, I'm like, look, dude, I don't like to do anything for this. So, you know, but today's my birthday. And he was like, dude, it's your freaking birthday. So then, of course, he paid for everything and bought me a drink and whatever. And it was actually a really fun time. We had a really fun night. It was just the two of us, just enjoying the town. But then the way he tells the story, he's like, dude, I got the surprise birthday. Like, it wasn't like, hey, here's a surprise party because it's your birthday. It was like, hey, surprise, it's my birthday. Which I totally didn't mean to do. Like, that wasn't my intention. I just, like, he was like, wow, you're getting a lot of texts and stuff. So I just felt weird not telling him. So I told him. But that was my reverse surprise birthday year. And he was like, you know what, dude, I don't like doing anything for my birthday, so we should do this when it's my birthday. And I was like, totally. But I think he's in... I don't know when his birthday is exactly, but he's not in LA right now. He's been traveling some. He's in Greece at the moment. But yeah, anyway. That was my surprise birthday. And it's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like my birthday. I'm sorry. I hope you don't judge me for it. My birthday, Platypus wants to know, when is your birthday, Ron? My birthday is December 5th. Prybite says, try raw foods. Brands I know of in California are Nature's Variety and Primal. Independent shops have it. My cats are 14 and 12, but look half their age. All right, cool. I'll check it out. Thank you for the tip. All right, Rudy Giuliani's wife says he's a cheating liar. Let's go here next. This is from Celeste. Give this a Get Your News On with Ron retweet. Rudy Giuliani, the mayor with the mostest, the guy that says, hey, don't forget 9/11 happened. Is he still doing that? Probably. That was like the only tool in his arsenal. All right, so this is from page 6. Rudy Giuliani's wife says he's a cheating liar. Rudy Giuliani's wife told the Post on Tuesday that her estranged husband is lying when he says he hasn't been having an affair, and insisted that the illicit relationship began before they were separated. As the Post exclusively reported Tuesday, Giuliani has been cheating on his wife, Judith Nathan, with Marion, New Hampshire Hospital Administrator Maria Rosa Ryan, according to sources. Is she still in New Hampshire? That's a hell of a commute. If he's in New York and she's in New Hampshire, that's a hell of a commute for that affair. Nathan shot back in a statement, my husband's denial of the affair with the married Mrs. Ryan is as false as his claim that we were separated when he took up with her. There was no legal filing for a separation before Nathan filed for divorce. Rudy Giuliani. Not an honest guy. Who would have thought? I believe his wife. I don't have much else to say about that. I mean, not trying to make light of it. It's wrong, but I don't. My bar for Rudy Giuliani is already on the floor. Like that's like, so it's sort of like, he did other shitty things. Like, yeah, that's okay. I'm not surprised. Is anyone surprised by this? Say something in the chat if you are at all surprised that Rudy Giuliani likely, and I guess we'll use allegedly to be proper, Rudy Giuliani allegedly had an affair. Does that surprise anybody? Let's see. Nope. Ha ha ha. Nope. Say what? All right. It looks like you guys... Yeah, I think no one's surprised. I mean, who's surprised by this? Allegedly surprises me. Yeah, I believe his wife. I'd be surprised if this wasn't true. All right, thanks for sharing. Let's move on. And we're almost out of time here. This is from Long Beach. And you know what? I saw something about this in the news. Ironically enough. And I wonder if there's any... I kind of wondered what the actual deal was with this. All right, so this is from CNBC. A Draper plan that would carve up California into 3 states qualifies for November ballot. A measure that seeks to split California into 3 states has qualified for the November ballot. The plan is backed by Silicon Valley billionaire Tim Draper, who previously failed in an attempt to pass a measure to divide California into 6 states. Draper's plan would create Northern California, Southern California, and a 3rd state named California, anchored by Los Angeles. Billionaire venture capitalist Tim Draper's initiative that seeks to split California into 3 states has qualified for the November ballot, but still faces hurdles to win a majority of votes. Draper's plan would create a Northern California state, which includes San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and Sacramento, A Southern California state with San Diego, the Inland Empire, and portion of the state's Southern California Valley, Central Valley, excuse me. A third state would retain the name California and include Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and several other coastal counties. How progressive would our third California be? I say our because I live in Los Angeles. I know not all of you do, but that's an interesting thought there. Santa Barbara is extremely conservative. Santa Barbara, that is like, I mean that is. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm trying to draw a comparison, but yeah, Santa Barbara is just extremely right wing. One of the probably the most right wing town I've ever been to in Southern California, personally. Last month, the so-called Cal 3 campaign announced it delivered 600,000 signatures to qualify for the November 6th ballot. Californians deserve a more effective education system that isn't failing our families, more reliable infrastructure that isn't fracturing our communities, and more sensible taxes that aren't stifling our opportunities. California's diverse regions require government attention that is specifically tailored to address that area's needs. Dividing California into smaller states will help elected officials decide on which tax and laws and regulations best suit that specific region, resulting in more responsive government. Congressional approval would be needed. Under the voter initiative, Los Angeles would anchor a new state named California and include 5 other counties. The state of Northern California would consist of 40 mostly rural counties and have its largest concentration of population in San Francisco Bay. The state of Southern California would include, okay, we already know this. If approved by voters, the plan to split California would be subject to approval by Congress. They would never approve it. At the same time, proposals seek to create a new California as well as a so-called Cal-Exit plan that asks voters whether California, the 5th largest economy in the world, should become an independent country. So, and by the way, there have been more than 200 attempts throughout California's history to split up the state. So I guess to end the show today, I should pose it over to you guys. Now I would need to do a little more sleuthing. Now I'm sure that this billionaire's plan isn't necessarily the type of plan I would want. I don't understand why it wouldn't just be a more simple Cal exit where you would just have California secede from the rest of the United States. I don't understand why it needs to be a 3-state plan. And why they all need to be completely separate entities. I would need to do a little more digging. I have a feeling it's for taxes that kind of benefit the richest among us and to kind of separate the schools for the rich even more, especially reading the explanation given by this billionaire. So my inkling is to say this probably isn't a good idea. But the question I'm going to pose to you guys to end, because it's a juicy topic, would you entertain the idea of secession by California? No, I don't necessarily mean this 3-state solution, which again, I don't know why that's the case. I have a feeling it's not for genuine purposes. But would you support a Cal exit in general, or consider supporting it? It's an interesting topic to entertain. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, so I don't entertain it very often. But since this is going to allegedly be on the November ballot here, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Is that something you support? I'll go over to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Matt says no. Zero Divisor says absolutely. A1 and A2 says yes, succeed. Sure, but it would lead to war, Ned says, so I don't know. I don't know if it would lead to war. Sean says nah. 17th Earl of Oxford says it makes sense for California. I would vote as a California resident for Cal exit from the U.S. I would hate to see it, says Celeste. Santa Barbara also has progressive college town Isla Vista, and SB just selected a pretty progressive mayor, but I'm from Nebraska, so maybe I'm biased. Maybe they're switching a little bit, Amelia. I've been all over this freaking country. I would say overall Santa Barbara is a pretty right-wing place. Of course, I've had nothing but negative experiences there. So my experience is also pretty biased. I'm sure I'll have better experiences in Santa Barbara in the future. One of my best friends is getting married there. So let's see. Moocher red states can go scratch. A1 and A2 says, I don't know because I've only been there 3 times. Lady Eve says it will be up to Californians. Now, old boy, we don't need no Califexit. That's what Derek says. Jobo says, I don't think it's a good idea. Cool Dude says, I don't know. Daniel says, no. Ned says, I think it'd lead to AR-cuss? I don't know what that means. We need to stand together. So it's like that in Cal. You guys want to dish the rest of us. I don't, again, I would need to really look more into it before I said something one way or the other. It's not something I think about very often because I think the likelihood of it happening is slim to nil. You would need congressional approval. California is the 5th largest economy in the world. Do you really think the rest of the country would want to get rid of us anytime soon? I would say no. However, are there some frustrations when a lot of the blue states kind of need to fund everywhere else, even though a lot of other states vote against these types of things? Yes, there's some frustrations in that. However, does that mean we should demonize everybody that lives in other places in the country? Of course not. So, yeah, it's not something I think about very often. And by the way, I consider myself a cosmopolitan dude. I've lived in different states. I've lived in red states before. I've lived in swing states, and I've lived in blue states. So, I understand the complexities. I haven't given much thought to Calexit because I think it's very unlikely anytime in any of our lifetimes. Mike brings up a funny point. You guys gave us Reagan and Nixon, and now you want to bail on us. It's a good point. It's a fair point. David says, California sucks, bad air, polluted, and etc. David, dude, the weather, you can't beat it. Just saying, buddy. Dogboy says, bye, Felicia. Okay. Daniel says, I think it would create more problems than it would solve for sure. I think that's definitely a fair point. It guarantees that Republicans have an easier path to the presidency. Yeah, it would. It certainly would. Although I'd rather see us just eliminate the Electoral College. Here where I am up in Northern California, it's all redwoods and clean air. Chuck E. Cheese says that. Also, a kid can be a kid. I don't think that's Chuck E. Cheese. That's somewhere else, isn't it? Where a kid can be... That's somewhere else. Anyway, I don't know. Fail. What about currency? What money would you use? I'm pretty sure they would use Placone bucks. I mean, that's what I would push for anyway. Placone bucks. We would totally do Placone bucks. Let's see. So, you know what? Maybe I would... If they use Placone bucks, I would have to support it. Sorry. Chris Walker says, Ron Placone for president of California. You don't want that, believe me. You do not want that. Craig says, Placoins. Love it. All right, you know what? I've just solidified my stance. I'm okay with California succeeding if the currency is Placoins. Sorry, can't help it. Wow, Ron. So, you know what? And everybody, we also have Placonium. Shout out to Brian. Good call. And, but everybody would be able to travel here freely. And I would be a kind leader. Everybody from the other states are welcome in California anytime. Of course, Californians are welcome there. And Placoins are more valuable than the dollar. So how many comb bucks is that, dear shoe keeper? One comb buck is worth $20. So that's how we would do it. Because I don't want people carrying around a bunch of stuff. One comb buck is $20. And a Placoin is worth $5. And, lady, damn right we'd have municipal internet. That would be the first thing we would get. We would get statewide broadband for everybody. And all the municipals would run their own internet. Ron Buck. Well, we solved it, guys. Way to go. A little bit of housekeeping. We got to go. Time is up. June 20th through 24th. Next week, I'm hitting the road. I'm also going to be in San Antonio this weekend, so our last episode for the week is going to be tomorrow. We're not going to have an episode on Friday. And next week, I'm hitting the road with Graham Elwell. We're not going to have many episodes. We're only going to have an episode on Tuesday, it might be on Monday, actually. I'll announce it tomorrow. I gotta relook at my travel plans. I fly on Tuesday. Anyway, June 20th through 24th, Graham Elwood and I are on the road. We're hitting Nashville, Huntsville, Asheville, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky, Atlanta, Georgia. We gotta do it before California succeeds. Succeeds. I mispronounced it. Anyway, guys, tickets for those shows, ronplacone.com. Please come out. I want to see ya. I love you all very much. If you want to go to those shows for free, patreon.com/ronplacone. You join my Patreon at any level. It's a pay-what-you-can level. You get all kinds of exclusive content. In fact, today, Lucy on her podcast had her first celebrity interview. You can read the transcript from that if you become a patron at a pay-what-you-can level. You can go as low as $1 a month. You get all kinds of perks, including free tickets to my shows when I'm in your town. I love you all very much. You guys are very beautiful. Pittsburgh, PA, November 23rd. I'm coming. I'll be at Hambones. I'll see you then, Pittsburgh. And, yeah, this has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated news show. Thank you guys for your participation. Thank you for your wonderful articles. It's always a blast. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We usually do this Tuesday through Friday. You know the deal. At 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Next week's going to be wonky because I'm on the road. And I'll announce next week's schedule tomorrow. But I will see you tomorrow. Peace and love, everybody. Stay safe. Stay good. Cone Bucks for the win.